The halfway point of the season has passed and the GT Pro contestants move to Imola in Italy, where the final push for the top spot and to move out the relegation zone begins. My name is Aidan Maud and I'm here to bring you the full story of round 4 of the GT Pro Series by iFactor 2. Kevin Siggy has a 5-point cushion going into this race and will be looking to outscore his rivals as much as possible. And Rudy Van Buren will be looking to better his performance at Virginia in the hopes of capitalising on his title favourite status. The sprint race was won in a controlled fashion by Williams eSports driver Nikodem Wisniewski, but further back, Pejo Pev and Rudy Van Buren had a drag race to the line. There was barely a car length in it. But that actually worked in Van Buren's favour. Finishing 9th in the sprint race put him in 2nd place behind his teammate Kevin Van Duren to take an all-red line front row. Pev was 3rd, having gone backwards through the field from the front of the sprint race grid, while Dennis Lind became the surprise of the evening, starting 4th in the Bentley. Jene Simoncic and Arne Skonfleet were 5th and 6th, making the most of a secondary BOP, and that allowed them to mix with the popular and powerful McLarens and BMWs. Van Duren left it late to drop the limiter, and it was he and Rudy Van Buren who got the race underway. The rest of the field managed to keep it nice and clean towards Tamburello, making sure not to pick up penalties for avoidable contact. Risto Capit tried to fire one at the inside of Wisniewski to Tozer but got a tap from Kevin Siggy. It was all under control and he continued with no major loss. Dennis Lind was feeling racy and he made an attempt on Pejo Pev into Tamburello. Pev was able to defend and Lind had to wait for another opportunity, which he duly took into Tozer on the very next lap. At the start of lap 3, Van Buren overtook Van Duren into Tamburello to take the lead. RVB was now in the perfect position to maximise his points haul for the evening. Jimmy Allison and Ed Trevelyan Johnson in the steward's office then started applying penalties from the previous round. Kevin Ryan, who was racing under probation, came in to take the first of 2 drive-thrus. Meanwhile, Pev was under pressure from Skonfleet in Aqua Minerale, where he overcooked the exit and allowed the Belgian through. Pejo tried to get another run towards the Variante Alta, but Skonfleet had the move covered. But Pev wasn't quite safe, because if you look behind, that's a rather big queue. But the race soon settled down, and while the gaps were close, the amount of overtakes had declined. And the 2 red line drivers enjoyed a comfortable lead out front. Simoncic then decided he wasn't going to sit behind Pev for much longer and attempted to swing round the outside into Villeneuve. Like with Dennis Lind, Pev had him covered, but Joni Tormela and Nikodem Wisniewski were also trying to move up the order. And then the race got its first accident. Boya Milan and Manuel Biancalilla battled into the 2 Ravazza corners. On the exit of the second of the 2 left-handers, Biancalilla lost traction on the exit curb and hit the barrier on the opposite side of the track. And luckily, the pit lane entry was nearby and repairs could be started on. But at the other end of the pit straight, Milan lost control under braking for Tamburello and took a trip into the gravel trap. Dennis Jordan battled with Zbigniew Szara into Villeneuve but got a nudge from Hani Al-Sabdi that sent him into Szara and Kuba Brzezinski. Then Simoncic had another crack at Pev into Tamburello chicane. There was light contact, and Pev somehow managed to drift his way to safety. But don't think that was the end of that, because on the run to the Villeneuve chicane, Pev, Wisniewski, Simoncic and Jajowski started looking for any gap that existed to try and get up the order. It even carried on towards Tozer, but that's where it ended. But not without Simoncic giving Jajowski a bit of contact. The battle between Pev and Simoncic ended, but not in the way Burst Esports would have liked. Pev defended, and Jene got the smallest part of his right side wheels onto the grass, and had to do a brief pirouette to get himself going again. Tormela and Yunus Ravio went side by side into Piratella, but the stewards determined that Ravio had been forced off the road by the Red Bull driver. Tormela was ordered to give the position back. But the Finn never did get his position back. On the next lap at Tamburello, he was squeezed onto the inside sausage curves by Capit, where he lost the rear end, made contact with Capit, and accumulated suspension damage on the impact with the wall. And with the race almost in the bag for Redline, there was shock as Van Duren lost the engine while downshifting into Tamburello. This promoted Dennis Lind's Bentley into second place, and charging Arne Skonfleet into third. But it was Red Line's Rudy Van Buren who took the win and 35 points at the end of the 45-minute feature race, outscoring Kevin Siggy by a decent chunk to eat into that championship lead. Dennis Lind managed to secure a popular and unexpected result by putting his Bentley onto the second step of the podium, while Skonfleet's third meant that 3 different manufacturers filled out the top 3 spots. Siggy could only manage 5th, while Simoncic, despite the spin at Tamburello, took 7th. Nuno Pinto managed a solid 9th for Butler Pal Motorsport, while Jimmy Azula took a quiet 10th. So just 2 rounds to go then, starting with the bumpy airport tarmac at Sebring in Florida, before heading to the season finale at Le Mans. Can championship favourite Rudy Van Buren claw back the lost points from the Nürburgring to challenge Siggy for the top spot? Or is it too late? To find out if he can, head to twitch.tv/rfactorlive on the 27th of April to see what happens. Massive thank you to our partners in Fanatec, TW Steel and The Race for supporting us, and until the next round at Sebring, I've been Aidan Millward for Studio 397 and R Factor 2, and goodbye.